Playing, mostly just listening to music, reading. I think I dabbled a little bit a month ago with Pokemon Sword. I just have my starter. Sad day. Pokemon Sword was really fun. Sword and Shield were good games. Scarlet and Violet were not the best games in the world, but Sword and Shield were fun. Hi there, here at the Poplin Shop, we sell everything. Our special blog item is super popular. What do I want? I guess I don't really want, I guess this. I am gonna have to go potty here really soon, buddies. I miss Yellow Silver. Crystal was my very first Pokemon game. And it really, like, that was the heyday of Pokemon. Red, Blue. Oh, nope. That's fine. Red and Blue and Gold and Silver, but especially Crystal, I feel like, were like the best Pokemon games ever made. And on top of that, it's like Red, Blue, Crystal, and then freaking Legends Arceus is like one of the best Pokemon games ever made. And it's such a sad day that, like, it's such a sad day that they made like the very first like open world Pokemon game. Oh, made like the very first open world Pokemon game and made it so bad, made it so good, and then made the next open world Pokemon game so terrible. I'm gonna have to use the restroom real quick. I'm gonna run an ad break because I haven't done that yet, and I want to see what it looks like. Oh, I can't run an ad break. Oh, because an ad just ran. That's interesting. Well then I guess I'll wait. What was I saying? But yeah, Crystal was freaking good. Crystal was good. It added on to Gold and Silver, but I forget what it was. Yeah, Crystal was like, you know, like how every Pokemon game, they have the main series, like the two main ones that they come out with. Oh, they have the two main ones that they come out with, and then they have like a third one that they will also come out with afterwards, like a sequel kind of. And Crystal was that third one. And the biggest thing that Crystal contributed was animated sprites. For the first time ever in a Pokemon game, the sprites were like moved. They were animated. And it's so weird that like after Crystal, they took like a step backwards with Ruby and Sapphire and made the Pokemon sprites not animated. And another thing that was annoying about Ruby and Sapphire was one of the like most immersive, very cool aspects. What is this? I can blow bubbles?
Please stop.
What does a bubble do? That's interesting. Oh, I can like blow a bubble and jump on it, maybe? What was it saying? Making me, it's so hard to play like a platform like this and continue a conversation. Crystal was very good. Crystal added sprite animations, and it was so confusing that Ruby and Sapphire had come. One of the most immersive aspects of Crystal in a Pokemon game like ever was the day-night cycle. That was like in sync with the actual like in-world day-night cycle. And then they got rid of that in Ruby and Sapphire and made like weather, which was just not as, it was fine weather, but it wasn't nearly as good as like the day-night cycle, and the fact that like in the real world I had to like wake up early in the morning before like going to school to catch certain types of Pokemon because they only spawned in the morning. That was super fun. I loved that. Lurking, have a good stream. Tekken the games. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, Lurking. Technically, originally it was green and blue, that's right, and it was green and red before yellow. In Japan they made green and red, and then in America they made blue and red. Japan only got green, which was why leaf green was so huge. No, Japan got red and green, and which is why whenever leaf green came out, it was leaf green and fire red. But then in America, we made red and blue. And then we got on sync after that point, whenever yellow came out. And I didn't like yellow. Yellow was fine, but I didn't like how like it confined you to like, you had to keep Pikachu in your party and like you couldn't evolve it. You know, it just was, I don't know. It was kind of restrictive. But I liked yellow. But to me, Crystal is the best game. I did like Sapphire, but the villains, I know, Team Aqua and Team Magma, that's the problem. You're about to get me on a whole thing right now, Matt, because crap, I can't remember their names. Satoshi, what is his name? Yeah, Satoshi Tajiri was the first person to make the Pokemon games. That was the first like game director or whatever. Team Rocket is always fun. Where was I? This. I think the day-night cycle was tied into those games having batteries in them, and then they die. You lose all data. I guess. But Satoshi Tajiri was the first person who directed Pokemon game. Made Red and Blue, made Yellow, made Gold and Silver and Crystal. And Satoshi Tajiri intended on ending the series with Crystal. Crystal was supposed to be like a big, a big deal because it was going to be the end. And that's why like you get to go to Kanto and Johto and Crystal. That's why like Gold, Silver, and Crystal all continue the story of Red and Blue. Like Team Rocket is still in Gold, Silver, and Crystal. They're like having to react to the fact that Giovanni's not their leader anymore because that happens at the end of Red and Blue. And Satoshi Tajiri, the way that he envisioned the Pokemon games was to the way that he describes them. I've opened them. Data loss sucks. Yeah, sad day. That makes sense. I wish they kept up with that. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like Crystal was meant to be the last Pokemon game made. It's the way that Satoshi Tajiri envisioned the franchise was like the vibe of Pokemon. He describes having the experience of being a little kid who went out to like parks in his local community and like would find like bugs and like look under rocks and find bugs and like animals in like the wilderness and like forests in his city, in his community. And that sense of like exploration and discovery, but also like taking bugs home and watching them grow and like watching a caterpillar change into a butterfly that like you took out of the woods and like fed and raised and cared for, and seeing it like grow and develop and evolve is like that idea of like childlike exploration and wonder and curiosity and are all like the heart of Pokemon that Satoshi Tajiri designed the games around. And you really feel that in the franchise up to Crystal. It's small, it's like local. You help out other people that are in your community, you explore the world, and you explore all the different kind of Pokemon that exist, and you get like swept up, like you're just doing something simple and childlike, like exploring the world, leads you into getting swept up in this big wide like conspiracy that's happening, and you get to be a part of like changing the getting rid of these like bad actors in your community or whatever. But that all is a byproduct of the fact that like you started off as a small child, and your curiosity led you into evolving and growing as a person, as a character, and getting swept up in things that are like kind of like too big for you was part of that. But like there's still, it's real, like it's something that like it's not crazy and unbelievable fantastical. And with Ruby and Sapphire, I can't remember what his name is. Masuda. Masuda was the director who took over after Satoshi Tajiri like finished making Pokemon games with Crystal. They wanted to continue the franchise, even though Crystal was thought of as like the end. It was so massively successful and popular that they wanted to continue the franchise. So they brought in Masuda. I can't remember what his first name was. They brought in Masuda, who had worked with Satoshi Tajiri on the original Pokemon games. They brought in Masuda to make new Pokemon games, and he makes Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, and like pretty much every Pokemon game since then. But they very much have a different vibe. Like all of a sudden now, especially with like Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, and then like Diamond and Pearl and Platinum, Pokemon like are like gods, and you get swept up in like world-ending, unbelievably fantastical events. And it just isn't the vibe that like Pokemon ever set out to create. And you know, it's just not. I don't know. The games after Crystal have a completely different vibe, and so now it's all about mega evolution and more shenanigans. Right, totally different vibe, and they feel like they're getting worse. They are definitely getting worse, but frustratingly, Legends Arceus kind of got back to that the heart of what Pokemon games were supposed to be. The way that it told the story, like you go back in time and you now become a kid who, it's a little, you know, different because like you're time traveling or whatever, and you are like eventually getting to like legendary creatures. That's the thing, is Mewtwo wasn't a god. It was semi-god, like Mewtwo was humble. Mewtwo wasn't a god. Mewtwo's a monster. Mewtwo's a scary monster in a cave, and he's the byproduct of mankind forcing their will upon the natural world instead of working together to like foster a more nurturing environment with the natural world. Mewtwo is like a manifestation of the hubris of mankind. But he is a monster. Like he's not meant to be a god. You are going around and you're discovering a Pokemon, and certain Pokemon are super powerful, and Mewtwo just happens to be one of those super powerful ones that has like become enraged by the way that humanity has abused him in the past. And that's why like that first Pokemon movie, that Mewtwo movie, is so good, because it really identifies like the idea of what Mewtwo was supposed to represent. What was I saying before you distracted me with Mewtwo? Oh, in Legends Arceus, you are like, you're time traveling and like you're encountering gods or whatever. But much more, it got back to the idea of like being somebody, exploring a world, exploring going out and looking at these creatures and putting them into certain situations to observe the way that they react, to observe the things that they do, the way that you complete the Pokedex. Like the Legends Arceus is so focused on you completing the Pokedex, and the way that you complete the Pokedex is just super cool and simple, and it just was good. Like Legends Arceus was one of the best Pokemon games ever made. And unfortunately, we won't get one again. Makes me think of the movies. They can be just as hit or miss, but there are still some greats among them. Yeah, there are some good ones. Like I said, that first Pokemon movie is unbelievably good. I'm gonna use the restroom real quick, but I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. Step 1, complete Pokédex. Step 2, level up 1 of each to level 100. Step 3, buy a new Pokemon game. Yeah, that would be wild if completing the Pokédex meant leveling them all up to level 100. But that's what was really good about completing the Legends Arceus Pokédex was that's what was good about completing the Legends Arceus Pokédex was the fact that you have to observe them do different things. So like catching it is not enough to complete the Pokedex. You have to catch it, and then like for each Pokemon it's different. This one, it might require seeing it, you might have to evolve it and see it use a specific move a certain number of times, or see it use a specific move against another kind of Pokemon, and it just feels a lot more like you're studying animals in the wild. It works a lot better. It feels a lot cleaner. Here, Cassie. Now you trapped. Okay, let's continue. This one. I got so close on yellow, but I only owned 2 games at the and I was 9 or 10. You just fight the Elite Four infinitely. Yeah. I never had like a lot of people growing up who I also played Pokemon with. And so that's interesting. Why is that? That's interesting. Me? Oh, yeah, right. You never really played Pokemon. You are a mod. What are you talking about? Yeah, no idea what words I was going to put there. I never had a lot of people to play Pokemon with whenever I was growing up, and so it was hard for me to complete Pokedexes because you have to be able to trade with other people in order to complete a Pokedex. But now that there's like multiplayer and you can trade online, I'm able to complete those things.